I can say it's definitely worth it. Behind me is 250 meters worth of climbing to a 550 meter summit, which I cannot wait for. Hopefully we make it.
We're finding out if this thing deserves an ice warning.
Welcome to Mount Iron.
Testing out both sides of the loop to work out which way up is worth it.
Last look at the car park. Welcome to the lovely Mount Iron. Hoping to get some absolutely fantastic 360-degree vista views up here and possibly see Mount Aspiring.
Mount Aspiring. Tititea to Kaitahu, the glistening peaks, 3,033 meters, the tallest thing around here that isn't part of Oraki. If the clouds play nice, we'll be able to see it properly coming up.
The struggle of the day, it's obviously my knee, but this track, again, completely new, so don't really know what we're up against, and apparently it starts off with this trolling ease that we have here and potentially turning into a little bit icy.
Yep, ice talk. Less than 5 minutes in. Keep count because this is not the last time.
So I hope I don't end sliding up down to the car park again. Currently it's about 2 degrees. Terrain, so far, lovely. Doc has this to easy or moderate. Easy to moderate.
According to Doc's official records, it's easy to intermediate. Unofficially, keeping that rating in my back pocket because by the time I get to the top, I might have a completely different opinion.
There's 2 entrances to this track. Is that correct?
2 ways up, 2 ways down. It matters which one you pick. More on that later because it changes everything about how this walk feels.
Apparently there's a loo somewhere. I get very nervous. No, I don't. I think it's actually the cold. No, you know what? I think maybe I do get nervous that I'm not going to see another bathroom.
The toilets are a minute detour at the Alumbai Park, not on the main loop itself. And they are, in my opinion, wait, let's go check them out.
Oh, that's cute. There's little taps and stuff, so you can park here. Mount Iron Recreation Reserve. Fireban.
Fireban makes absolute sense once you've been in this place in the summer. Apparently it's bone dry and fully exposed on top. No shade at all. Right now, it's the opposite problem.
Shed loose.
Up on that summit, there's a sign that I'm going to badly mispronounce at least twice. Stick around and laugh at my misfortune.
Open. Okey-dokey. Oh, yeah. I mean, oops. In the face by the door. Alright, Mount Iron Loop Track, there we go. So just kicking this off, the elevation for this is 250 meters and the actual peak is standing at 548.
548 meters, nailed it. And the climb itself is more closer to 225 to 240 meters depending on where you start since the car park is already part way up there.
360-degree views. Yeah. This track roughly takes an hour and a half. We're taking lots of photos, so who knows? I don't want to go on that, just in case it's icy.
Ding, 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 that's ice count number 2, and I was right, because in winter mornings, this exact stretch turns into what Doc flat out calls a slip hazard.
Already got, wow, I have no idea what those are in terms of mountains. And there's some snow down there. Very cool. Oh, shucks. Grass it is.
Not knowing what half these peaks are called is going to be a running theme, but the good news is I'll get most of them named right when I get to the top, so stick around. The unfortunate news is I'm going to absolutely forget which ones by the time I'm back at the car park, because this is a cardio fest.
Distracted by the ground. So 4.5 kilometers, probably a lot of steps, and likely to have sore glutes afterwards. Hopefully not from falling over. The track itself, pretty flat, slightly wet, which makes me hope there's no ice because of the gradient. Can we pull over? I just want to pull my knee brace up again. Oh, so hard. Hello, Baba. Hey. Oh, look, frozen dog poop. Yeah. There we go. That's better. Oh, excuse me.
We've been shedding clothes as we go.
This is roughly where the 2-degree weather stops being funny and starts being real. My legs are warm, my insides are burning, my hands are absolutely frozen, and my nose is about to fall off. The track's only just getting started.
Jesus. Sorry. I think if you were to try to attack this for like a sunrise, if you were that game, it will be iced. It will absolutely be iced.
Ding ding, ice count 4, and this one's the actual confirmation. Doc's official warning says exactly the same thing. Sunrise attempts in winter mean ice. Full stop.
What's quite interesting is the dog poop is all frozen that people haven't picked up. Oh, speaking of, the toilets were lovely, actually, in my opinion. Running water, and it smelt like bleach, which to me is actually a welcoming scent for a public toilet. And a great warm hand dryer. Warm.
Since you're on the subject of toilets and being prepared, if you want the map for this before you lose signal, grab it now, not up here. Get your maps beforehand. You can do that from my site or another trusted site. Just do it on Wi-Fi before you lose signal.
I'm glad I didn't put the other jumper on. I would have been burning. My hands are freezing, but my body is very warm already. Very warm. These ruts must be from ice melt. And rain, yeah. This one's definitely a workout. Wow.
While we're climbing, there's a word waiting for me at the top. For us. On one of those information boards. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to let you know I get it very wrong. Twice.
Another sidetrack there. Down to the city centre. Oh, that view. Gorgeous already. You know what lake that is? Or body of water?
That's Lake Wānaka.
Oh!
It's Wanaka Lake.
I didn't realise the lake was so huge. The incline actually stepped itself up.
Quick thing worth knowing before you commit to a direction. This loop has 2 very different personalities depending on which way you walk it. Go clockwise here, the Wanaka side up, and you get the shortest way, but it's steeper. There's a reason my knees are already complaining and we're not even at the top yet. Go the other way, the Albert Town side, and it's longer, a gentler climb, more shade, better views over the Clutha as you go. We picked the steep and short section because I didn't want to come back down that on my knee. We'll tell you if that was the right call once we're staring down the other option later.
This is supposedly Doc's easy to intermediate. If you were doing this in the morning, this would be like a vertical ice route.
Ding ding, ice count number 6. And honestly, that's fair. This is the steepest section on the side.
It is very steep, but very beautiful.
This bit's where the easy to intermediate starts feeling generous. Steep, loose underfoot, and absolutely no flat ground to catch your breath on. It doesn't last forever, but it felt like it did.
Yeah, because actually, haven't even been that far and it's it's very hot. The view so far is beautiful. I'm curious to see how much it changes at the top. And it's very nice to see all of these waggly tails. Dog friendly indeed. They got the poopy bags at the start, love that.
Speaking of dogs, the rules here are strict. Leashes only. The whole reserve crosses private land. And that's the deal the landowners agreed to. So any dog you spot off leashes, technically slip the rules. If it's yours, keep them close. There's drop-offs on this track. And if it's not just for the rules, do it for their safety.
This walk, if you're driving here, like 2 minutes from the town centre, you just park off State Highway 84. Bloody earth. Fancy running down this.
This is the Wanaka side, steep and short, but didn't seem so short. Remember that, we'll come back to it later.
Yeah, run up is less slippery. Run down is faceplant. Even me walking down, I could faceplant.
Ice count number 7, sort of. This one's more of a gravity problem than an ice one, but same energy.
What I did notice actually is there's only one gym in this area. And I think it's probably because people just do a lot of this. Snaky, snaky. Oh, goodbye view. For now.
Small silver lining, Kanuka trees start showing up properly through here. They are low, tough, everywhere in this part of Otago. If you didn't know, it's the shrubby native that copes with basically anything the weather throws at it.
Holy moly, am I the only one walking? They're making me feel lazy.
Honesty moment while we're on the grind on this bit. Nobody warned you about the switchbacks and how they keep coming. You think you've hit the last steep pinch, and there's another one waiting, smiling at you. It's not cruel exactly, it's just relentless. There's a payoff at the top. Promise I'm gonna get there.
Golly. Yowza. At least for each little bit, you get more of a reward. 250 meters. I wonder how far I'm up. What's this? The third snaky bit?
How many sneaky bits have we done? They weren't wrong. This track loves to fake you out with what looks like the final climb. Then it reveals one more. It's less a switchback on the trail and more a personality test.
Finally a flat.
Enjoy it while it lasts. It's not staying flat for long. Also, small confession, the whole time I've been editing this video, I keep trying to say the name of the rock formation at the top, and I still keep saying it wrong. You'll see. Repeatedly.
You can see on the floor a lot of this exposed bedrock. If I'm not looking at where I'm going, I often trip on. My depth perception is meh. It hurts every part. Knees, ankles, no fun. There's another little one. So good. A little bit of a view. Beautiful. Keep on keeping on. I can feel the sweat dripping on the inside. Not quite there yet. Back to the bush. You get a lot of the Kanuka trees, which is nice. You can, in terms of the smell, actually smell the plant life, which is really lovely.
Native plants aside, this whole basin has a much older story than the last few decades of Wanaka's Airbnbs. Māori journeyed through here for centuries, not to stay, but to pass through on their way towards the west coast, chasing something worth more than gold to them. Greenstone, Pounamu, this whole area is on that route.
This track's getting a little icky.
Not quite icy this time, just icky. I'll allow it. Ice count 8, generously.
Kind of nice though, because the rocks almost provide like grip or stairs. Yeah, bad stairs, but stairs. I keep singing in my head, oh, we're halfway there. I don't actually know. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Oh, flatness. Hey. I assume I just keep going up, even though my knee would prefer not to.
While I wasn't wrong to assume it, this track has almost no flat stretches until the very top. Every flatness is a breather, not the finish. Worth knowing that before you start, so you're not disappointed every single time like we clearly were.
Just keeps going. The loose gravel is actually quite slippery.
Ice count 9. Honorary mention. Loose gravel is basically an ice's cousin. By the way, if you're doing the sums like we were, this is roughly the point where the 45 minutes, if you're fast, starts feeling like a snide remark. I'm taking photos. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it.
Because my nose is so drippy, I'm breathing through my mouth quite a lot. And my teeth are getting cold. I'm sweating. Like, I'm actually dripping. You could potentially go up this in just a t-shirt, but it's cold. It's very cold. If there was wind, that would be so tight I can't think. If you were to hike this in summer, you might as well do it naked.
Certainly not medical advice, obviously, but I got a point. This whole upper section has zero shade in summer. Doc's own warning is heat stroke and sunburn risk. No joke.
Yeah, but this bush is lovely. At least this would provide you a little bit of shade and a wind block. Oh God, every time it's flat, I feel like it's like, thank you. Yeah. All of these side ones, I guess people have just kind of cut through to get a view.
Before it stops.
I thought that was It is! What is that? I'll show you. I'm going to say it was probably a rabbit. There's lots of hares after all being out in this environment.
Rabbits over hares, most likely. This area's known for them. Introduced species, and they are everywhere in this kind of low shrubland.
A giant insect, yeah, that would be huge. Biggest stick insect ever. Oh, wow. Change in pathway again. Now it's just pretty exposed rock. Oh, nature stairs. Wow. What's up on the rocks? Just a taste of what we're walking on. It does change quite a bit though. Like, it was just that section and now it's back to flattish.
This whole stretch is worth pointing out on camera. It's exposed schist bedrock, the same stuff that got smoothed down by glaciers over thousands of years, and it shaped everything that I'm walking on right now. It's not just scenery, it's the whole reason this hill exists in the shape it does. Which, hint, ties directly back into the word on the summit sign that we still haven't got to yet.
Back on it again. Mountain biking is strictly prohibited on here. But, I mean, if you were good, you'd be fine. But heck, if you came off, especially on one of those bits, jeepers.
No bikes allowed on this loop. Full stop. Doc's rules. Not a suggestion. And I think it's fair enough too, having seen some of the drop-offs on some of these bits. There is a bike track through here though, somewhere. Just not this one. It runs along the flat bottom section instead, connecting the car park to Albertown. We'll cross it later without even realizing it. More on that when it happens.
Can't see much in here. It's just bush. Sort of troll you at the start to be like, oh yeah, real nice view. Now all I can see is trees.
Ice count check-in, since it's been a while, still 9. And holding. Mostly because we're back tree cover for a bit. It won't last though. The exposed stuff comes back soon enough. It always does on this track.
So, Mount Iron, known as geologists, Roche, Moutonnée,
Here we go, word attempt number 1. I almost got it right. Not quite.
which means it's a glacier-formed rock. Oh, my breathing. Yeah, she's not very fit. So yeah, it's just been carved out by the water and alpines sort of iced over time. I'm gonna have to fact check myself later because I'm sweating.
Good instinct for the record. The term is Roche Moutonnée, French. It translates loosely to sheep's rock. Because of a certain angle, it's smooth, rounded, and apparently looks like a sheep's back. The other side gets ground, smooth by the glacier moving over it. The other side gets left rough, jagged, where it was plucked away from the rock. That's Mount Iron, essentially a rock shared in half by ice over thousands of years ago. Apologies to anyone out there that can say that better than I can. Sorry, I tried.
If this was a treadmill, I think would probably be on about okay, it changes. I mean, looking maybe like a 10 to whatever the heck the maximum is. Oh, is this a lookout? Yes! Look at the trees, they got just super barren. I can imagine the wind must absolutely whip through here if it was bad. Oh, not quite yet, but still. Woohoo! Oh, I'm gonna trip over because I'm too busy looking at things. If you're having a look at the lake behind Wanaka, I'm gonna say back in the day because I have no idea what year it was. Māori actually used that for a trading post for Pounamu, Greenstone, to the west coast in summers.
Confirmed that this whole basin sat right on the real trade route towards the west coast, chasing Pounamu, Greenstone. Not passing myth, it's documented by Kai Tahu's history. This was a genuine seasonal pathway, not just a pretty lake.
Oh yeah, and there's your new world.
So much developed.
Jesus, and we're falling over. Oh wow, look at that wiggly tail. It did say that dogs are supposed to be on leash, but I guess not. Hey! Hey cutie!
There you go, I said it myself, on camera, before I even needed to bring it up. Rules stand, leash only, but this pup clearly didn't get the memo. Lucky one.
I like this flatness. Done the hard yards, and I can just feel trying to stabilize on those larger stone rocks. Quite sore on the knee and the ankle. This kind of looks like a golf course. A bad golf course, but a golf course. Up on the ridge. Hello, hello. Oh, lovely suburbia and a very drippy nose. Is it Lake Wānaka? You want to say about the mountains?
Oh yeah, it's Lake Wānaka Township is 12 o'clock in front of you. Very beautiful. Rob Roy in the background.
Which one's Rob Roy?
The brown peaks right in front of you.
Brown Peaks.
And beyond that, you've got the Mount Aspiring Triple Cone Ski Field.
There you go, Mount Aspiring. Confirmed from earlier, and 3,033 metres. Actually visible today. That cloud cooperated.
That's from the expert. My geology is pretty terrible. Unless I can see Google Maps. There is reception though. Patchy, but good.
Better than patchy. The reception across the whole track is great, summit included.
Look at that plant. I mean, I don't know if that's ice or just munted, lack of a better word.
Ding ding, ice count number 10. And yes, I'm counting the plant confusion here.
Albert Town's over there. Three Peaks, which is the new development of Queenstown, which is beautiful, may I say. The fact that there's a new world, as long as there's a grocery store, I'm a pretty happy chappy. That means that the civilization went to Arrowtown. It was definitely not. What is that? Was that an emergency phone or something? Defibrillator, yeah. I feel like I might have needed one of those. I think my joints are working on, let's say, 25% capacity right now. These views are absolutely gorgeous. It's cold, but I'm also sweating profusely at the same time. That's what you get for climbing up here in a snow jacket. But the winds, I am getting touch of winds now that we're up on the peak, and they are quite bitey. Did I make it? Surveyor mark. Summit! Oh, that marks a summit. Hashtag goals.
Made it 548 metres, knee complaints, sweating in 2-degree weather, totally worth it.
Look how low the clouds are over there. I gotta watch where I'm going.
They're called inversion clouds.
What did you say?
Inversion.
Inversion clouds. Not snaky mountain clouds. I'm sure that was a scientific name.
So the whole town will be under a cloud.
Far out.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yes. Geographical information board. You know how much I love those.
This is it, the sign. Here we go again.
Makes me seem like I know what I'm talking about. Oh, but they're a bit blurry. Maybe ice.
Slip that one in. Ice count 11. I'm blaming the sign now.
Squeaky clean. 80,000 years ago, ice. Glaciers of this region, a lot bigger than they are today. The summits you're standing on once lay beneath 1,000 meters of ice, carving Mount Iron into its present shape, which is the Moutonnée. Roche Moutonnée. It is a new word for me, so I don't know.
Tip number 2. How's my pronunciation going? Close? Still not quite yet. For the record, Roche Moutonnée. 2 tries and, well, I'm still not there yet.
You are surrounded by an open landscape featuring tussocks, canucas, and isolated pockets of bush. Glad I got the canucas right. It hasn't always been like this. When the climate warmed after the last glacial advance, Otago forests established themselves around here and flourished for thousands of years. 500 years ago, people. It's certain when this region was first visited, the Māori occupied around Wanaka, and Hāwea became centuries ago after exploration an inland region by Rakai Hatu. And the Waitaha people of whānau or family-sized groups ventured inland from the coast settlements in hunt of moa in central Otago.
Honestly, it feels like those signs just keep going. I'll fill in the gaps myself. The Waitaha were among the earliest people known to have moved here through the basin, well before the European arrival, using it as a seasonal base and routes further inland towards the coast.
100 years ago, Pembroke, no town in New Zealand can boast such beautiful surroundings or healthier or more salubrious climate. Lake Wānaka is the most beautiful lake in the world. That's actually been quoted from a magazine in, holy heck, 1884.
Straight off the sign, and it checks out. This was how the Dunedin newspaper advertised it back to the town in the 1880s when it was still called Pembroke, not Wanaka.
Hey, I love these things. Here you go. Mount Alta, Bushman Peaks, Rob Roy, Niagara Peak, Fog Peak, Black Peak, Trib Cone, and Mount Coromandel, Roy's Peak, Mount Alta.
Side note, and why it keeps appearing, is Triple Cone is a huge ski field out this way that many people come down to this area just to ski.
Going from the left, Grand View Mountain straight in front of you is Clutha Valley, slightly to the right over here, Pisa Range and Crifle Range, and down here is the absolutely magical, and what you probably heard of, Cardrona Valley. Oh, there's a water station. That's lovely.
This is the only water on the entire route, so feel free to join the pups. There's no water on the summit. If you didn't feel down at Allenby Park, you're relying entirely on what you carried.
I can officially say that the 360-degree view is worth the agony. We got Lake Wānaka, spectacular view.
And there's the verdict straight from the source. Worth the agony, I'll allow that as the official rating.
And Lake Hāwea. After making the 548 meters above sea level, I didn't slide back down to the car park. Yay! Although in the mornings or possibly late afternoon in winter, I think this would definitely be a slip and slide and you'd end up back in the car park with ease. But us going down, it's certainly going to be hitting. So that's what we got to go down. It's going to look pretty yucky. Me anyway. Ending up on my butt. I won't. Hashtag goals. Sorry, so salubrious means happy and healthy.
Wholesome.
Oh, wholesome and healthy. It's a word I was struggling with before.
2 words I learned on this track today. Leash, Moutonnée, and apparently salubrious. Not bad for one summit. To be honest, I blame it on the lack of oxygen heading to my brain cells.
You can see how shiny the rocks are. There's still actually like ice on them. Either that or they're just glittery rocks.
Ice count again. Now we're tracking the descent separately. I don't want to embarrass myself too much. 1.
Wanaka's side apparently is a bit more steeper, and this one's more of a longer, gentle descent.
And there's a second confirmation of the through line that I planted at the start. Wanaka's side up is steeper and shorter. Albert Town's side is gentler and longer. That's the trade. And now we get to see for ourselves and test the second half.
So this is actually still pretty much on the summit here. It's looking at these beautiful views. But in terms of what you actually need to go up on this side, I don't know, I did say gentle gradient down, but that's pretty rocky. I'm looking out down here, got these new builds in the house, some lovely cliff faces. It's gorgeous. Scramble continues. Evidence of a slip and slide.
Ice count on the way down? 2.
If you're coming from the Albertown side, it seems like this side of the track holds a lot more moisture. If you were to do it, just keep that in mind, because it's fairly late in the day now and this part of the track is still very wet. Slip hazard for sure.
Albertown side holds more moisture longer, especially later in the day. If you're descending this way after lunch, expect wet.
Found some stairs. This is the only block of stairs. Right now, the wooden handrail, it almost feels like cold, polished steel. How's my knee going on the way down? I'm trying to keep it tracking quite straight, so it's actually not horrible. But this side of the track is rough, for sure. Is it gentler? Yes. But, yeah, it's a constant with the rocks. Just heading back, so we're actually on the Albertown side now at the base, staring at the beautiful Mount Iron.
Here's the actual verdict now that I've done both sides. Wanaka's side going up is steeper, shorter, tougher on the knees early. Albertown side coming down, gentler grade but rockier, and the time of day probably not the best. Neither one's easy, they're just difficult in their different ways.
There is a climbing crag around the other side of this.
There's another thing that's true. There is a real climbing area on the eastern face of the hill. There's sport routes, all steep. Not part of this walk, but worth knowing it's there.
How was getting down? How do I feel? My back's a little bit niggly, I have to say. This side is certainly colder. More gradual for sure, but there's a lot of rocks. I mean, it's the afternoon and a lot of ice.
Descent ice count number 3, still going strong.
I feel like my nose is going to fall off my face. Otherwise, beautiful. Which way would I suggest? Going up Wanaka, probably also coming down Wanaka side. The Albertown side doesn't have as much views, mostly because there's quite a lot of scrub and high trees. But if you wanted shelter in summer, then I guess that way would probably be better for you. Yeah.
There's the honest local guide read. Go up and down Wanaka side if you want the views, unless it's summer, in which case Albertown's extra tree coverage starts to make a lot more sense.
So actually just heading back around to the car park now and just looking at these views. Spectacular. Apparently, I'm now on a biking track.
And there's the bike track I promised earlier. The one that runs flat at the bottom section between the car park and Albertown off the main loop, biking allowed. Exactly as flagged.
Main Queenstown Road. Guess this is what the locals use. And that sun, because it's so low in winter, it's almost like you get to live a lot of the day in golden hour. So I'd capture it down here. I mean, the car noise isn't very nice, but the scenery is beautiful. The ground down here is magnificent. Flat or gravel. Lovely jubbly. Ice wonderland.
Ice count, home stretch tally, 4 on the descent. 15 for the whole day. Woof. This whole basin used to sit under about 1 kilometre of ice, which for me is worth remembering every time my niece complained about it on the way down. Somewhere under all of this schist, tussock, ice, 1,000 metres thick, did all the hard work of building this hill. Let's actually score this thing properly, category by category. The toilets. Already sung their praises earlier. Running water smelt like bleach in a good way. Warm hand dryers that actually work. The only catch is they're not on the track itself. They're a little detour off Allenbo Park, so sort yourself out before you commit to the whole loop. Toilet rating?
Look at those lovely mountain views. Which one did you say it was? Not sure. There's so many mountains around here. It's like, without a map, You get spun around really quick.
Which sincerely is the argument for grabbing that map beforehand. Even standing right here with this whole panorama in front of me, half of these peaks blur together without something labelled in my hand. The drive. Well, it barely counts as a drive. It's 2 minutes off State Highway 84, or a 15 to 20 minute stroll if you're staying in town. There's free car parking at the main car park, plus a backup car park at Allenby Park. An opposite puzzling world if it's too busy. Drive rating? The track. Well, it depends entirely on which side you're about to try. Wanaka side, steep, short, properly works the legs early. Albertown side, gentler on paper, rockier in practice. And it holds water long after the rest of the loop has dried out. The track rating?
Oh, son, you frost my nose. Oh my God, my nose.
The views. This is where it stops being a debate. Full 360 at the top. Lake Wānaka, Lake Hāwea, the Clutha Valley, Cardrona Valley, Mount Aspiring on a clear day, Treble Cone, Rob Roy, the works. Genuinely one of the best payoff to effort ratios of any short walk around here. View rating? The struggle factor. This is a short track in theory, but it doesn't feel short while you're on it, especially in winter with the cold, fighting the climb the whole way. If you're unfit or carrying an injury, don't let the easy to intermediate fool you the way it fooled me. Struggle factor? Overall verdict. Add it all up, and Mount Iron is a short track that punches miles above its 4.5 kilometers. Easy to get up, kind of, when you're properly equipped at the bottom. Very tough in the middle, but worth every complaint my body made when I was standing at the top looking at that gorgeous view. Overall,
There's New World civilization. Oh my gosh, this actually looks familiar. Yes, we made it back to the car park.
full loop complete, that's both sides of this mountain. The time that Doc quoted was 1.5 hours for a slow walker. I must have been absolutely killing it up there because we did it in less than an hour.
Beautiful mountains ahead.
Quick recap. Ice count 15. 0 actual falls, a couple of slips. So credit where credit is due. The verdict on the two sides. Wanaka side for the views, steeper, shorter. Albertown side if you want the gentler and more shade. Just watch the wet patches in the late day.
Now this is the car park. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.